NASA Dryden Test Facility, Edwards Air Force Base, California. The last operational U-2C aircraft would finally get the chance to do publicly what it has done quietly and routinely for over 30 years. Outperform every other aircraft in its weight class. In 2 flights in 2 days, this aircraft, known by its original Air Force serial number 682, would attempt to set 16 world records in 2 weight classes. But before this aircraft would even attempt its final 2 record flights, U-2C 682, the 9th built by the Lockheed Skunk Works, already represented a piece of aviation history. Here it wears a civilian face, that of NASA. But 682 was born in the heat of the Cold War. Its logbook even contains signatures made by Francis Gary Powers during reconnaissance missions over the Soviet Union in the late 1950s. This first day's record attempt, piloted by Lockheed test pilot Jerry Hoyt, was in the C-1F Group 3 category. To meet this weight class, 682 carried a lighter than normal 395 gallons of fuel. But other than fuel load and removal of the pogos, no other special changes were made for the flight. Records began to fall almost as soon as 682 left the ground. Time to climb to 3,000 meters in 52 seconds. Time to climb to 6,000 meters, 1 minute 46 seconds. 9,000 meters in 2 minutes 48 seconds. 12,000 meters, 4 minutes 14 seconds. The time to climb to 15,000 meters was lowered to 6 minutes and 15 seconds. A third of the time required by the previous record holder. And 682 created a new category. Time to climb to 20,000 meters at 12 minutes, 13 seconds. New C-1F records were also set for altitude without payload and altitude in horizontal flight at 73,700 feet. Subject to final records confirmation, 682 landed with 8 C-1F Group 3 world records in all. A spy for the first half of its life, 682 began its work for NASA in 1971, mapping the Earth's natural resources, monitoring pollution, recording the depletion of the ozone layer, and the effects of natural disasters such as the Mount St. Helens eruption.
Eric, I expect a good picture out of you. You want to take the pilot along?
Pilot Hoyt was greeted at NASA Dryden by one of the original designers of the U-2, Ben Rich.
Congratulations to everybody else. I just want to point out. We appreciate it.
And the first to fly the U-2, Tony LeVere, as well as other NASA and Lockheed officials and members of the press.
Should be good.
What were the records you got?
Time to climb to 3,000, 6,000, 9,000, 12,000, 15,000, and 20,000 meters. And then those are the time to climbs, and then there are 2 altitude records. One of them is maximum altitude, and the other one is max altitude and level flight. And the max altitude and level flight was the one that we were trying to get right by flying level and hold the airspeed. That was the critical one.
So how'd you get chosen to fly?
Flip of the coin.
Lucky flipper?
Right. No, I call it right head.
What elevations did you get?
What elevation?
Yeah.
What?
How high did you get?
Oh, I'm not sure exactly because they have to look at it, but basically I had 73,300 on the altimeter, and I'm not sure exactly because that's pressure altitude, and theirs was different by about 300 or 400 feet, so somewhere around 73,700, I think.
On the second flight, 682 was given a normal configuration to attempt records in the C-1G Group 3 category. This time, Lockheed test pilot Ron Williams was at the controls. A standard fuel load of 1,020 pounds was used, and lead was placed in the sensor bays to duplicate normal mission weight. Flying under the same operational conditions that the U-2C has for more than 3 decades, new time to climb records to 3,000, 6,000, 9,000, 12,000, 15,000, and 20,000 meters were set. Altitude without payload and altitude and horizontal flight records were set at 72,720 feet, more than 20,000 feet higher than the previous record. A tool of diplomacy and politics, of intelligence gathering and science. 682 enters retirement, making an undeniable statement about the performance and durability of one of aviation's most famous, yet least known stars. These records are a tribute, not only to the aircraft, but to all the people who have been associated with the U-2 program over its lifetime.